All right. Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Journeymen Sports Podcast. We are finally both back in the building today. So glad that, we can come to you guys and bring you this award show today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to get to talk some good football now that this season is finally over. We were going to try to get you guys a Super Bowl preview, but
Had a lot of
that
difficulties.
that yeah, had a lot of difficulties and honestly just have been swamped with schoolwork, and school does come first at the end of the day because we are both in college and trying to keep that steady. So
Got to get that
um
education.
yeah, trying to do our thing. So definitely glad to be back on the podcast together, though. Definitely get tired of doing those individual videos sometimes,
Yeah,
and
but we're trying to get it out for you
miss the
guys.
partner dynamic.
I
So
know.
yeah, no, we're back and we're gonna bring you guys this award show today. It should be a lot of fun. So just sit back, relax, and here we go.
All right, so we are going to save our MVP for last. So we will start out with the Rookie of the Year awards. We'll start out with Defensive Rookie of the Year. The three candidates we've selected are Sauce Gardner from the New York Jets, who had 75 tackles and 2 interceptions. Tariq Woolen of the Seattle Seahawks, who had 63 tackles and 6 interceptions, which was tied first in the NFL. And then Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions with 52 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. So, Cade, we'll get your quick analysis of these three players, and then we'll get your pick.
Okay. Man. So I think that Sauce Gardner is just undeniable. He's been a lockdown corner from the jump, and we kind of knew what he was when he came in. That length, that mix of length and speed is just very good. Very like hard to beat. Tariq Woolen was a guy that I actually mentioned really liking in the pre-draft process. If you go back and watch our pre-draft videos from last year and everything for the draft, like I was really high on Tariq Woolen, even though he was going to be a late round guy.
You've been ahead of the
I
Jones on
thought
him.
yeah, I thought his development would be very good and his ceiling would be high, and that's exactly what he's been. He's 6'4". He's a guy that can really jab receivers. He's very, very fast. He ran in the 4.3s, I think. And he's a very, very, very talented guy. I think Seattle's got their next kind of Richard Sherman replacement there. Um, so definitely high on him. And then the third one, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Uh,
By the way, if you see
okay.
us looking down at all, we've got the
Oh,
stats on
yeah,
our
yeah,
phones
yeah.
just to preface. We got all the
Yeah, we
stats pulled
yeah.
up. So
And then Aiden Hutchinson, man, I
underrated rookie year, honestly.
underrated rookie year, and I think the 3 interceptions as a defensive end is crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, that's something you don't see
That's a
very
good
much.
year from a corner, honestly. Like
Yeah,
if you're a
yeah,
solid corner, that's a good year.
10 sacks, damn near, and 52 tackles. That's big. So and honestly, watching him on Hard Knocks too, he seems like a really good locker room guy. Seems like a guy that gets along really well with his teammates. His singing scene is one of my favorite ones from Hard Knocks,
He's actually got a
because
decent
he's just
voice.
yeah, and he's just goofy, and he
He's no
he gets
MJ,
the
but
whole yeah, he gets the team camaraderie thing where he you know
yeah.
he knows you got to do it for the team even though it's a little bit embarrassing or whatever. But
Yeah.
I like guys like that. So I like all three of these guys. I think they all have bright futures. I obviously they're in this list for a reason. So me personally, I'm gonna say Sauce is my guy. Just same way that they chose it in real life, because Sauce, man, when you come in and you're that dominant, especially at a position that's as hard as DB, like
Yeah.
that's a really hard position for a rookie to know, let alone be locked down like he was. Like he was a lockdown corner in his first year.
Yeah. I mean, he's already
Um,
top 10, I think, amongst a
yeah,
lot of
easily.
people's lists.
Easily, and he deserves that title. So, and he has a very bright future. He's gonna keep doing his thing. He plays with that DB kind of like swagger that Jalen Ramsey has,
And he's
and
on one of
you
the
know,
best defenses in the league, in my opinion,
yeah,
too. Like, I mean,
I call him Gangrene. I think that was a name that they used to use like a lot back, like kind of in like the era of like Mark Sanchez and them. But like
yeah,
Gangrene, bro, I like that defense. That defense is
yeah.
something special.
Yeah. I guess to give my quick analysis of this, to make a long story short, I'm taking the same pick. I'm going with Sauce here. I think Tariq Woolen and Aiden Hutchinson, obviously, those are great years for even a lot of seasoned pros, especially at their positions. I know Sauce, like for just kind of the blind sort of amateur eye, so to speak, the two interceptions doesn't really pop off the page, but when you get thrown at about 3 or 4 times a game, your opportunities go down significantly just based on basic math. And I mean, it's really rare at corner, especially that you see a guy come in and he's instantly top 10 at his position. I
Go
mean,
watch if and I'm doing this because I think this is important for if you're listening to us, I think you should go watch this video. Go watch Brett Coleman's video on Sauce Gardner. He literally talks about how quarterbacks are literally already scared of this dude to
yeah,
throw his way. Like as a rookie, that
yeah.
is very rare.
And both of these guys with Woolen and Sauce have a great combination of size and speed. Like they're both bigger, like taller kind of dudes too. So yeah, I mean, I think Sauce is my pick here. I think Aiden Hutchinson has a pretty fair argument into this, but I just think to me, just based off my eye tests and kind of the overall impact made on a team, I'm gonna go with Sauce as well for defensive rookie of the year. So next up, we've got offensive rookie of the year. If we only put two on here, to me, this is really a two-horse race in my mind. Got Brock Purdy, quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, was undefeated as a starter in the regular season. And then Chris Olave, wide receiver of the New Orleans Saints, who was snubbed in real life for
Who
not
that
even
baby?
being who was snubbed for not even being on the NFL's finalist list. He had 72
Which is
catches.
crazy
Yeah.
because if you look at it, like Kenneth Walker got the most votes, but Olave and Wilson were like right behind him.
Yeah. And Olave had a good season. 72 catches, 1,042 yards and 4 touchdowns with quite the revolving door of quarterback, which I'm sure Cade always loves to talk about how good the Saints quarterbacks are. So we'll
No,
toss it
I
back over to you.
and here's the thing, bro. Like the Sean Payton trade. This is why I like the Sean Payton trade is because we get a first round pick again, and we might actually be able to get a semi decent quarterback just because of how deep this class looks. But it's
Yeah.
like, man, we have so much talent. It's just like we need that
We
quarterback,
need
and
the
it's like to
ultimate
see what
piece.
Olave is to see what Olave can do with Andy Dalton is special, bro. Like he's gonna be a menace to society. He's gonna be our next Michael Thomas, and hopefully we can move on from Michael Thomas. But yeah, man, I think I would put Wilson as a horse in the race just because he did
Yeah.
play very well too. And Kenneth Walker deserves to be in that race too. I don't want to take anything away from those two guys because they also had really good rookie seasons. But I mean, to me, it was Olave. Like I thought, I literally when I saw that Wilson had won it, I was like, that doesn't make any sense because I was mad. Like I DM'd Garrett. I'm like, oh, Olave, like where is Olave? Like
Yeah.
I was like, you like there is no way. Because I literally thought he was gonna win it, let alone he wasn't even on the list. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, that's
man,
that's my pick too. I would pick Olave just because of like Brock Purdy did his thing for sure, but also he probably had the best team in the league just on paper.
and
And
coach.
yeah, and I mean we'll get
I mean,
into
he is one of the better coaches too.
yeah, we'll get into coach of the year. Um here in a little bit. But yeah, my pick is also going to be Olave. I think it's going to be quite the sight to see when he actually gets, no diss on Andy Dalton or almost famous Jameis, but when he gets a quarterback who can hopefully be top half of the league at least and can just get
I'm
him.
beating the table for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, I think Anthony
I think that is a reasonable place to where Anthony Richardson can fall, just because Anthony Richardson's tape is really weird to look at,
Yeah, I mean,
because you get a
there's
lot
some
of bad
high
and good.
highs and there's some very low lows for him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, speaking of rookies and that kind of stuff, be on the lookout. We'll be getting into our mock drafts here sooner than later. Excited for
Big
that.
draft season coming. We
Yeah,
love draft season over here. I'm looking
that
forward
was
to
what
that.
got our channel started last year, really, was
Yeah, yeah.
all of our talk about mock drafts. And yeah, so we'll be getting those out hopefully before we'll get our first one out at least before the end of the month. And obviously got some stuff to watch and review before we do that. But yeah, we're excited, and that'll move us into our next award, which is Defensive Player of the Year. Pretty pretty much all edge rushers here. Got Nick Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers, 51 tackles, 18 and a half sacks. Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys, 65 tackles, 13 and a half sacks. And then Chris Jones, who had 44 tackles and 15 and a half sacks. And this is no diss to some of the linebackers and corners who put up good numbers, but just to me, these are the three guys that were the most dominant in their defensive side of the ball this year. So, Kate, I know as a guy who played on the defensive line, this is a little bit of your expertise. So let's hear what you got here.
I did. Yeah. No, I played both defensive I played nose tackle for a year, and then I played um defensive end for my other 2 years. But uh, you know, I think it's Bosa. And I don't think I, I liked, that he did end up winning it, because I think he deserved it.
Definitely.
You know, I think he's just a different animal than Parsons. I like Parsons a lot. I think he has a very bright future in the league. But like, I don't know. I didn't see him jump off the screen like he's been jumping
I
off the
saw
screen
it
to
in the
me
first
in the
half of the
past.
season. I saw it in the first half of the season, and I felt like with Parsons, as they got deeper and deeper into the year, not that he faded away because he's still obviously one of the best defensive players in the league, but I felt like his impact was minimized towards the back half of the year, especially.
I
I
just
agree with
don't
you
think
there.
I don't think he played as well as I've seen him play. And then Chris Jones, I mean,
Really a
Super
nose
Bowl champ,
tackle, which
Super
is
Bowl champ. Congratulations,
yeah,
I'm happy for him, all that. But and as a nose tackle, it's really hard to be
even
that
double digit
efficient.
sacks.
Yeah, to be that efficient sacking the quarterback, because you're right jammed in the middle of the line. You get blocked by the most guys. You're getting jammed all the
Double,
time. But
yeah.
I mean, he did what he did, and I have a ton of respect for him. But Nick Bosa is someone. All these guys are guys you have to plan around when you play them. But
Your
Nick
game plan
Bosa
starts and
can.
ends with them.
But Nick Bosa can literally. It's like Micah Parsons and Chris Jones are gonna make flash plays in a game. Nick Bosa can literally change a game.
Yeah. I
Like literally, like all these guys are game changers. Don't get it wrong. I'm giving respect to all of them. Don't take anything away from the other guys when I say this. But Nick Bosa's on that different level of he could literally stop a drive by himself.
single-handedly wrecked the game for an opposing team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna echo that same sentiment. Nick Bosa is my pick here too. I think he's probably the best defensive player in all of football right now. I think it's pretty hard to argue against that. Stats are only just part of it, but I mean, if you watched the Niners at all this year, I mean, this is a guy who just sticks out, especially if you're cheering against him. He really sticks out. Um, is a guy who's always in the backfield and just seems like he's always finding his way around the ball wherever it is. And I mean, he led, in my opinion, the best defense in the league this year. He's the heart and soul of that team. And yeah, I mean, I can't
And he
wait to
is better
see.
than his brother. I hate to break it to other people, but he
He's
is
been
better
better
than
than
his
his
brother.
brother the last 2
His
years.
his and can we just like, bro, where has Joey Bosa been? I haven't even heard his name. I haven't even heard him in the top pass, like the top edge rusher conversation at all. And I'm not saying that he's not still a top tier edge rusher. It's just like I remember when Joey Bosa was like 20, damn near like a 20 sack player.
Yeah,
And
when
now
he was Nick
where is he?
Bosa like 4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like now
and
where is he?
yeah, and I think Nick Bosa in the NFL, he has the trajectory to become one of the best edge rushers we've ever seen.
He could be the next JJ Watt, like
Yeah,
without
definitely.
a doubt.
Um, so we've agreed on all three so far, which is quite the surprise. And I have a feeling
Honestly,
after this next one, that's where we're gonna start to disagree a little bit. I think offensive player of the year is pretty much a unanimous choice here. We'll run through our candidates real quick. Got Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, who had 128 catches, 1,800 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins, 119 catches, 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs, 110 catches, about 1,350 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So pretty much
you know what?
one.
You know what? I'm gonna really surprise you this one. I don't think you're gonna see this coming. I'm gonna get if you know. There's always gonna be people that disagree with me in the comments, but you got to hear where I'm coming from before you freak out. I want to pick Travis Kelce, and the reason is because he's a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
When the freak do you see a tight end have 110 catches, 1,338 yards, and 12 touchdowns?
Yeah.
That's Madden numbers, bro. And he's doing that in real life in one of the harder divisions, especially in a division with two pretty good defenses. Kansas City's defense was pretty good this year, and Denver's defense was maybe the best in the league this year.
Yeah, they were up there.
You got to play them twice a year, and Travis Kelce is never like when does Travis? No one ever says Travis Kelce disappears because he doesn't.
And the
He's
craziest
consistent.
thing,
He's consistent, and he mauls other teams every game. What other tight end? I don't care. You can name Kittle. You can name Darren Waller. You can
Mark
name
Andrews,
whoever.
all the
Yeah, you can
guys.
name whoever you want. No one is putting up numbers like that in that stacked division like he is, bro.
Yeah. And I just want to
Like
point out one other thing real quick on Kelce. I've never seen a guy of his magnitude and stature always be so freaking wide open.
that's what
Like
I'm
every
saying.
Super Bowl. And I know part of it's Andy Reid and the scheme, but I mean, I swear this guy, especially with Kansas City losing Tyreek Hill, I was a skeptic at first. I mean, I didn't think
And I don't want to hear, oh, they got Juju. Juju didn't do anything. He caught 3 touchdowns.
AJ Brown put it fairly well. He was on his way out of the league. I mean,
Literally.
he's not
And bro,
entirely
like
wrong.
and he still could be like I don't see Juju as even remotely a top receiver anymore. I don't even think he's a number one on that team. I
I think
think
he's a perfect number 2 or 3 on the team.
yeah,
I think
and
he's a perfect 3,
yeah,
maybe a stretch of a 2.
yeah, he could be a solid 2 or 3, but he is not a number one anymore. I don't care what
Definitely
anyone
not.
says.
I think that's
Um
yeah.
and it's but and yes, Jetta's bro, all respect, like almost a 2,000 yard receiving season, but didn't crack 10 touchdowns as the number one receiver. And I
Yeah.
understand the Vikings, they got Hawkinson, they got guys that, they have weapons over there. They still have Thielen, they still, but it's like they may have mouths to feed, but think about how many mouths are being fed on the Chiefs. Everyone gets fed on the Chiefs. Kadarius
Everybody
Toney scores
eats.
touchdowns, and he's like the
Dude, he's
fourth receiver on the roster.
how did the Giants let him go? Like no one's
That's what I'm
talking about that
saying,
enough. That dude is crazy talented.
bro. And it's like it is. It is just wild to me, bro. You don't see a tight end put up that number. And he cracked 10 touchdowns. Neither of the receivers on this list, nobody else on this list cracked 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
and he did it as a tight end, bro.
Yeah.
As a tight end and hit 110 catches. Like he went absolutely crazy. And like I said, Justin Jefferson, I know he won it in all actuality, but my pick, I haven't seen a tight end ever really do that. I've never seen a tight end season actually be like that in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking Travis Kelsey.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people might be fed up with that. I think that's a perfectly reasonable choice. As a Travis Kelsey fantasy football owner, I fully condone that choice right there. And I mean, it's just like, to me, I'm still gonna pick Jettas. I think I mean, he had Cooper Cup numbers similar to last year, just not really in the
Mm.
touchdown department. But I mean, anytime you get over 100 catches, that's impressive. But
Yeah, and
then
he's
when you get
and he's
128, like that is just
he's
wild.
he's don't that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to take because both the other receivers on this roster are absolutely crazy. And Jettas did have an insane season. Like, don't get it wrong. Like I'm not taking
Yeah,
anything away. It's just the fact that I've never seen a tight end
like
do
Kelsey.
that.
Yeah, other than like
Do
Gronk,
that.
that's really the only other. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I could see, like, I would not be mad at anyone for picking Jettas, Hill, or Kelsey. Like I could see perfect arguments for all those guys. Like Tyreek
And
Hill had us convinced Tua was the MVP like halfway through the season until he got
and
hurt.
no offense, but what did these two other guys do for their teams in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean
This
that's
these stats are before the postseason.
I will give
Travis
Tyreek
Kelsey
Hill a break on the postseason thing because he had Skylar
or
Thompson throwing to him.
yeah,
That's
all
the only
these
break
guys.
I'll give.
Yeah, all these guys are these are regular season stats, right?
Yeah,
And Jettas was supposed to be on he was on the 1 seed.
yeah.
So it's like
Or
bro,
no, 2 seed.
I
Whatever.
two,
One of the best teams in the NFC
yeah, one of the best
regardless.
teams in the NFC regardless. Yeah. And they lost, they did their thing, Tyreek the Miami lost, they did their thing, but like Travis Kelsey was literally probably the reason him and Mahomes are the reason they went to a Super Bowl and won.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I could see all these guys getting picked and see perfectly good arguments for it. But for me,
Yeah.
I don't the 128 catches and 1,800 yards is just wild to me. So I'm gonna pick Jettas. But yeah, so we did disagree on that one. All
Yeah.
right, and then this one I know we're gonna disagree on. Got Coach of the Year.
Well, I already know you're gonna go for your guy.
Well, I mean, I'll explain why. I'll hop first on this one so that I can
I
get out in front
already
of
know.
this.
I already know.
But you got Brian Dable of the Giants, 9-7-1 with a playoff win. Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers, 13-4, 2 playoff wins with Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback. No disrespect to Brock Purdy. And then Doug Peterson of the Jags, 9-8 playoff win. Let me go first on this just so I can explain why I'm picking Doug Peterson. Before everyone goes from my head, hear me out. 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 Hear me
Okay,
out. Stop
I'm
laughing.
listening. I'm listening. I'm listening, man. I'm
Let's turn
listening.
those
I'm
listening
listening.
ears on real quick. Let me speak some knowledge into your life. Picture
All right.
this. Let's paint a picture real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 years ago, we suck. Back-to-back years as the number one pick. We don't know what we're doing. We have no clue. We come into this year. We're expected to be ass again. But Doug Peterson takes a team that had back-to-back number one picks to a playoff game. They win their division, get to the playoffs, have a 27-0 comeback win in the playoffs, go to Kansas City, have every opportunity to win the game. They ultimately end up losing. To me, the turnaround the Jaguars had is unprecedented across the NFL. Say what you want about the Giants and Brian Dable, I'll give you that. But the amount of question marks the Jaguars had, the back-to-back number one picks, I have never in my life seen a team go from number one pick to playoff win in the same season. And just based on that alone and how he's turned Trevor Lawrence from the biggest bust of all time into easily a top 10 quarterback in the NFL going into this next year, I've never seen anything like it. And that alone is why I'm picking Doug Peterson as my coach of the year.
I mean, I give the respect. I see, like I see it. The reason I'm going with Dable, and
And
the
I
and the
think that's
reason
perfectly
why
understandable.
the reason why I'm going with Dable is because the Giants did what the Jags did, except with even lower expectations and without back-to-back number one
Giants had
picks.
higher expectations this year than the Jags. Jags were supposed to finish 2-15. Just keep that in mind.
I
I get it
mean,
though. Both of them were supposed to be like bottom
and
dwellers
yeah, they were both supposed to be bottom tier teams,
and picking inside the
and
top 10 again.
and he had a quarterback who had already been developed by other coaches and everything for the last 5 years, had to come in, reteach him everything, get a new system in there, do his thing. And he did it without number one picks. Like I said, he didn't get to make the number one pick. He didn't get the top talent. He got, they still had high picks and everything. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't like the best pick in the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
And regardless of what you want to say about Trayvon Walker or whatever, like maybe it should have been Hutchinson or maybe you feel it should have been Sauce or whatever. But like all I'm saying is like, bro, I respect what the Jaguars did. I like the trajectory they're going. No one's arguing. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you come at me like I'm like against the Jaguars.
Nah,
I'm
I
not
never
against the
said that. I
Jaguars.
was just
I,
saying.
I
You
I'm
were
I'm
laughing at
I'm
him when I
looking
picked
out.
him.
Yeah, no, but I see, like I do see the potential. I've been seeing the potential. I've said that in the past. Like
Yeah.
in the off season video, I said I thought they had one of the best off seasons in general,
Yeah.
and they did. They literally did. So it's like I I like the direction they're headed in. I like Doug Peterson as their hire. By the way, man, we need to do a coaching video because Shane Steichen, I'm kind of excited to see Shane Steichen with the Colts. I think that's a really good hire. Anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought of that, but
I
what
was
I'm
hoping
saying
as a
is,
Jaguars fan the Colts would keep Saturday. That'd be two easy wins every year. But
what
of course, the Colts actually had to make a good decision for like the first time in a year. Anyways,
but no, that's the reason I chose Dable. Is he kind of came in and the Giants, man, they went through all that shit with Joe Judge and like
oh
all
wow.
that BS. And it was just an absolute, like, it was almost like every single time you look at anything Giants media related, it was just horrible news, like
Yeah.
back to back to back. And Dable had to deal with the whole Kenny Golladay debacle at the beginning of the season. And just like, bro, it was a
Yeah.
whole
Both
mess.
both of those coaches had so much noise coming into
Yeah,
the
it was.
year.
And Dable still found a way to like literally turn people from saying Daniel Jones is horrible, why the
Should
hell
be
did
out of
we
the
pick him at
league.
number 6, to like this dude is good, like he could possibly be our franchise
And he's
quarterback, da 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 da.
probably like all that I've been hearing is that he's gonna get an extension, which like if a lot of people were thinking after this year if he didn't do well, he'd be out of the league completely.
Yeah, and I mean they also cut their number 1 pick from last year at the in the season, like bro, or
There's a lot of
not their
stuff going on.
not their number 1 pick, but they one of their first round picks from last season, Kadarius Toney, they cut him in the middle of the season. That was like weird. Or no, they traded him. They
They
traded
traded
him.
him to Kansas. I mean, they got
Yeah,
rid
yeah.
of
They
that.
got rid of their first round guy, and like
That's a
I don't know. I really like that for Kansas City, of course, because that's going to
oh
be a
yeah,
guy that's going to be a problem in Kansas City for years to come. Him and Mahomes are going to be special, but he just has a little bit more development to do on the receiver end. We saw that he
yeah.
can return, but
He's just a
um
playmaker, like through and through.
he's just very good in open space. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, I
yeah,
don't know,
I
bro.
like
Like,
either of those picks, honestly. I think Dable and Peterson both did very similar. I think they
things.
almost had very almost identical seasons, just in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah, literally just except and also like I just think Dable had a little bit more to deal with than
yeah,
Peterson.
and
Just a
that's
little
fair.
bit more, and like with the Saquon injury, with all like everything, bro. Like
Yeah,
just how messy, and like Kayvon Thibodeau coming in and just talking shit for no reason all the time, and like, bro, it's just been a mess with the Giants. But like he has navigated his way, and that's why he won it in real life. And all
yeah,
respect, bro. Like literally
all of
all
these
respect
guys.
to all the guys. But I'm just saying, you know, Even if we have a difference of an opinion, I still have respect for the other side for sure.
Exactly. And I perfectly understand either of those picks. But now to the biggest award in all of sports. Got the MVP. We'll go ahead
Mahomes.
and yeah, I mean, we'll say our candidates and everything like that, but we got Joe Burrow, 4,475 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks, 68% completion rate. Jalen Hurts, 66.5% completion rate, 3,700 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 6 picks, and then 760 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. And then Patrick Mahomes, 67.1% completion rate, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 12 picks. And this is pretty easy. I'm picking Mahomes too. And
Yeah, and yeah, he's MV Pat. Like Travis Kelsey said, he's
he's on
MV
his
Pat, bro. Like
he's
if you're playing against him, you're scared. It doesn't matter who he's playing with.
and
It
he
doesn't
showed
matter
that this
who.
year.
Bro, Tampa Bay. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. He literally had toddlers on his offensive line and was still kept them in that game somehow. Like
Yeah.
was literally like laying out full body flying sideways and dotting people up. Like
Yeah.
it's different. It's not Lamar Jackson is special, Joe Burrow is special, Jalen Hurts has
Hurts.
showed that he can be really special too.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, all
those
these
guys are
guys are
special,
obviously best of
and
the best.
and then
There's just a
and
different
then
level.
they're special, and then there's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's just a different animal. But like, I mean,
I saw a graphic, and it was like it was Burrow, Hurts, and Lamar Jackson all sitting around a table, and then Mahomes at the head of a table with like a crown on with his feet
yeah,
kicked up. And
it's
it's just
just like
like
I don't. They,
that's how it is.
every time the NFL tries to push the agenda that someone is better than him, it was Lamar Jackson first, and then Mahomes, I think, is still undefeated against Lamar, and
And then it
then
was Burrow.
and then it was Burrow, and they had obviously some trouble with the Bengals, but then they ultimately win the biggest game against them. I mean, I don't know, because everyone tries to say Mahomes and Burrow is the next Brady Manning kind of thing. But to
It
me,
is though. It
but
is.
here's my thing on it. We've never seen anything like Mahomes. It's Mahomes 1.0. And then I think, Burrow is a lot like Brady just with the killer instinct, but I don't even think you can compare Mahomes to anyone else that we've really ever seen.
Burrow, he doesn't honestly what he gives me more of like a mix between Manning and Breeze in terms of his mentality.
I just think the
Because
killer instinct
because he's a
Brady-esque.
leader. He's a leader first. Like he really cares about leading his team. He really
Yeah.
cares about being seen as the leader in that locker room. And then he also plays with that like swagger that Peyton Manning played with. Like even though Peyton Manning, you look at him, he's an old like he looks like an old white man that can't move and everything. He did
He
if you
is.
watch when he was playing, if you watch him when he was playing, he played with that like swagger. He played with that like kind of confidence. Like he
Yeah.
knew what he was doing. And that's what I see in Burrow, but also with the accuracy and like and the mentality is where I see Breeze. Like I see a lot of Breeze in his accuracy and his mentality because he's
Mhm.
very accurate. He can take pressure, like all those things. But I think it's the next really good
It's the next
matchup. Like
great
I think it's
rivalry in the
to
NFL.
me, I think it's way better than Mahomes and Allen. Like I think that's it. I
I
think
think,
I
we've said
enjoy
it so
but
much.
bro,
Allen's
but
so overrated.
I enjoy me as a fan. I enjoy watching Burrow and Mahomes go at it way more than I enjoy watching Allen and Mahomes go at it because Burrow and Mahomes are on that same level of like Allen, he's gonna play with that gunslinger mentality of like I'm gonna throw this ball and if it gets picked, sorry, you know.
Yeah.
Burrow and Mahomes are like we're not gonna turn the ball over. We're gonna play killer football every single
Yeah.
play.
And that's
Like it
one
is.
thing with Mahomes is like early on in his career. I mean, he was a little bit of that. I'm just going to throw it wherever. Cause I mean, he can fit it into almost any window, but he's gotten so much better, especially this year without Tyreek Hill, of really just settling down, taking some of the little intermediate stuff that keeps the drives going
He
instead of
gets better
always
every year.
I've got to hit the home run. And he's gotten so much better. I mean, he doesn't have that option as much anymore, but he's gotten so much better with his decision making. And like you said, somehow he manages to get better every freaking year. Just when you
Literally,
think
like
he can't do anything more. And I mean, I was a critic in the offseason. I was like, without Tyreek Hill, I said, I think he's going to take a step back. And my dumbass, I thought the Broncos were going to win the division. And then Russell Wilson decided to forget how to play football, but that's a different story. But
Sean Payton's there now. I think that's about to all change.
yeah, I mean,
I've been doing I've been doing my little. I've been kind of keeping an eye on things, and I do gotta say, as much as I was hating the Broncos situation, I'm starting to like it more and
yeah,
more
I
every
think it's
day
going to
now.
be a lot of like what he did with Drew Brees in New Orleans. You know, that older, kind of beat up
I think
quarterback.
it'll resurrect his career. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has the chance to. But one player I do want to shout out is Jalen Hurts. I think if he didn't get hurt, I think he probably would have won the MVP, like just from a numbers perspective. But
Mhm.
I mean,
And
obviously,
he was
everyone saw
playing
what he
on
did in the Super
he was
Bowl.
playing
Like,
on a different level too. He was
yeah,
really
and
doing his thing.
he's him and Mahomes. They're gonna be Jalen Hurts as long as he can stay healthy with that,
But
physical style play that he
it's
has.
not even Burrow and Mahomes that necessarily makes the Bengals and the Chiefs so fun. It's the Bengals and the Chiefs going at it.
Yeah,
Like
it's all the
I
shit talk.
love that rivalry, bro. Like I
Yeah,
love because they are every single time they play, it's always a close game, and it's like you just see the players being nasty the whole time because they
yeah,
don't like each other. They really like
they genuinely don't.
I really do think that the Bengals are literally keeping Eli Apple on their team at this point just so that they can
Have
have like a reason to play with just like that like hate and that like
yeah.
shit talk because that's all Eli Apple does. He can't back it up, but he starts a lot of shit and
He's
the
like that
Bengals like
pesky
low key
little
love it.
brother. He's like that
Yeah.
pesky little brother that like doesn't win anything, but just always talks that talk, but never walks the walk. Like I don't
And
even
like
know, dude.
somehow he gets a reaction out of everyone.
There's just
Some way
some,
somehow he does it every time.
in my
And like
opinion,
they
like there's just
voted on
nothing.
who is the most hated and the most liked player, and Eli Apple was voted the most hated, like
Yeah,
number one by far, bro. Like
yeah.
by
It's just
far.
like I don't know. There's just something oddly satisfying about watching him get cooked every game.
I've
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
literally, I literally like despised this man before he even went to the
He was
Bengals
on your
because
team for a while.
yeah, because when he went to the Saints, I was at a game. I was literally at a game watching him live, and I was watching him because we had just got him. It was the
Yeah.
season we had signed him and Janoris Jenkins like mid season,
Mm-hmm.
and Jackrabbit was playing great, but fucking Eli Apple like
Just Eli
literally I was
Apple.
watching him and I'm just like every single play I'm like this is the worst corner I've ever seen in my life because he got 3 PIs in one
Yeah.
game against the Colts, bro.
Yeah.
Against the Colts, and it was the Colts season that they were playing with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback because Andrew
That's
Luck had
impressive.
retired. Like he got 3 pass interferences in one game and then proceeded to get cooked on like every route. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is and that's when I really started paying attention to him because when he was with the Giants and he was with another team that I forget, but when he was with the Giants, I was not paying attention to him. I did
Yeah.
not care. But then once he got to the Saints, I'm like, okay, this could be smooth. Like he was a first round pick. Like we'll
Yeah.
see what he has. Like we'll see what he has. Like this could be okay. And then
Nah.
just absolute, just like horrible. And then I thought after he left the Saints, I'm like, he had the worst season I'd ever seen a cornerback have. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way he gets picked up by another team. There's no way. And then the Bengals pick him up, and I'm just like, oh my God, bro. How
Yeah.
is this man in the league still?
Yeah. I mean, he's a character for sure,
I
but
hate him too. Like, he's the most hated player in the league. But if I had to choose probably like, I don't know who, I have a couple of players that I really don't like, but he's definitely in my top 5 of like the players I despise the most in the league
yeah.
for sure.
I think he's on a lot of people's top fives for sure. But yeah, that was I'm surprised we actually agreed on a lot of those.
Yeah, we only disagreed on 2, right?
I think so. It was coach of the year and then offensive player of the year. But yeah, that was the Journeyman Sports Podcast NFL Award Show. We thank you guys for watching. We hope,
And what
as
episode
always,
would this be?
this is episode 30. So we're obviously
Okay,
we've
we're moving
posted,
right along.
yeah, we've posted a lot more videos than just 30 on the channel, but in terms of like the official episodes we've had, this is 30, and we figured,
we're over 70 videos on the channel, I think, at this
yeah,
point,
and
right?
we've been doing well, trying to keep the consistency up, which, as Cade mentioned earlier, is college students that can be hard sometimes, but
And bear with us, guys, but
yeah,
we are
whenever we can
working,
try
and
and get together and do these, we do our best to try and do it.
and
'Cause we like this better too. It makes it a lot more fun. Have
yeah,
someone to
and
bounce off
we're
of.
exactly, and we're working as much as we can, and we're also, we're doing stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't see to, make time for this, and
Yeah.
make our content better constantly. Like, I know you guys have been seeing, the graphics in the videos, and just new editing, new things are coming, and eventually we're on Instagram right now, but I think we're gonna branch out and start putting things on Twitter, because I know Twitter's a good space where we can pretty much upload anything that we want to put out.
Yeah.
And then you might even see a TikTok come at some point where we just have clips and things like
Also,
that. But we're trying to
shout out.
grow
We're
as
at
much as we can.
69 subscribers, which is nice. 69
Yes.
subscribers, one away from 70, and we're closing in, I think, on 4,000 views on the channel. So we wouldn't be possible without you guys. Thank you all for watching, supporting, liking. Make sure to leave your guys' comments down below, and then be on the lookout. We'll get some mock drafts out. Hopefully we'll have our first round mock draft out by the end of the month. So yeah, we're excited.
We're gonna hone it in. Me and Garrett have also talked. We're both doing a lot more research, a lot more like film study on the draft prospects.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always done that, but I know Garrett he was more busy last draft season because he was getting ready with his golf stuff, so he
Yeah.
didn't have as much time to look into the prospects, and I think that's why our mock draft didn't really look so good.
Yeah. And
But
plus now we're
I
more
think
experienced with all this and everything. So yeah,
Yeah, and I
I'm
think I
excited.
think we're gonna do our research. We're gonna come with a good mock draft that I think will honestly be pretty close to accurate.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're
and
gonna do the
we're
first one
excited.
without trades, just to preface. Or holy cow, why can't I speak? Gosh. Just to
Yeah,
preface, holy
just
cow,
to
that was
yeah
freaking rough
yeah.
for me. Maybe this is my first time doing this. I don't even know anymore. But we're getting off on a tangent right now. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. We hope you enjoyed episode 30. And this has been the Journeyman Sports Podcast, and we will see you guys next time.